you go.
We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Boxing Ego Unpacked. Yeah. We unpack. We unpack. We unpack. Coming to you live. Anthony Joshua says he has a chance to get it right in the Andy Ruiz rematch. Said quitting's not in his DNA. Stay tuned. What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Make sure you smash the like button. Also, subscribe to the channel for the latest and greatest in boxing if you want to become part of the gang. Notification gang. Please hit the bell icon. Shout out to the Super Chats, channel donations, the Venmo donations, and the Patreon family. We work. And also sign up for ESPN Plus. Link in the description. And it helps the channel. I'm an affiliate. Big upcoming UFC pay-per-view with Poirier versus Khabib Nurmagomedov. Very impactful fight for that division. And let's get started into the content. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Sky Sports, they have an interview. They're doing pretty much a 3-location press tour. And they were just in New York for Ruiz Joshua Part 2. And I want to talk about it. I want to talk about kind of what was established. Sky Sports has an article, link will be in the description. Ruiz Joshua 2. Anthony Joshua says stopping isn't in my DNA as he faces off with Andy Ruiz in New York. Anthony Joshua warned, quote, I have a second chance as he went face to face with Ruiz at a press conference in New York. The heavyweight rivals met again in the city where Ruiz Jr. shocked Joshua earlier this year ahead of their December 7th Saudi Arabia match. IBF, WBA, and WBO title holder Ruiz Jr. wearing a sombrero only broke from an intense face-off when he heard calls of "Let's go, champ" from the on-looking Shannon Briggs, the former heavyweight champion in New York. Joshua earlier said, quote, in my short 11-year career from the amateurs to the pros, I have seen a lot. I wouldn't say I've seen it all, but I've definitely seen a lot. Look at Joshua smirking and shit. Look at Ruiz smirking. I don't know, man. This is just sidebar. I wouldn't give Ruiz nothing because he already let him hold the belts from the first fight, and it was disastrous. So I wouldn't have no sportsmanship. I'm just telling you, I ain't shaking no hands. Because this is a do or die fight for Joshua, but that's just a sidebar. Joshua continues, says, there were times when I faced defeat as an amateur. My third fight, imagine I stopped then, there would be no now. I lost in the European Championship quarterfinals. Imagine I stopped then there would be no now. I lost in the World Championship finals. Imagine I stopped then, there would be no now. Stopping isn't in my DNA. As long as I have breath, I will keep fighting for the passion of boxing. And more so an ambassador for championship level fighting. That's where I belong. I was born with the fighting spirit. I know how to fight. People say, you lost your titles. I say to lose something is to never get it back. I have a second chance December 7th. I didn't have a warm-up fight. I'm not gun shy. Which, I'll get to that in a second. Shannon Briggs talks about the times he was down and out and nobody believed in him. That's where Let's Go Champ comes from and comes into my life right now. Joshua then called on Briggs to shout out his catchphrase as he responded with a loud, Let's go, champ. Ruiz said about New York, this is where I became the first Mexican heavyweight champion of the world, but I know Joshua wants his belts back, and I know how it feels to lose. I lost to Joseph Parker when I thought I had won. Joshua can bounce back, but my job is to not let him get the belts back. I've had doubters my whole life telling me I do nothing because of my appearance, just because of how I look. People could say now, if he did it, I could do it. Promoter Eddie Hearn added, this is a beautiful, brutal sport. Every fighter deserves respect, but these two are great role models and great ambassadors. This may be the heavyweight occasion of our generation. Joshua Ruiz met in Saudi Arabia Wednesday on the first leg of the 3-day media tour. They reconvene Friday in London. So there's a couple other things that Joshua said that I've seen in his New York stop where I kind of want to talk about in this video as well. make sure you guys smash the like button. We about to unpack this. This right here draws like concern for me. Joshua, like, Joshua almost has split personalities, the way he comes across. You know, when he was doing interviews and when Eddie Hearn was talking about him, he said, oh, Joshua's bringing the spite. He's coming with the, you know, the venom and the vitriol, and he's bringing spite to the equation, everybody. But wait, there's more. He got spite, you know. This don't look like this spite and all this shit that Eddie Hearn was saying to me. You know, you dapping it up. Ruiz is smiling like, yeah, I got you the first time, huh? You know, and Joshua like, you got me. So the confidence don't look like it. Just when a man, listen, this is just my opinion, obviously. When a man constantly goes against, look at Eddie Hearn in the back. He just looked like, man, what you doing, bruh? When a man constantly goes and puts something out there in the atmosphere, boom, I'm going to get a job. I feel, and maybe it's just from having my father in my life, you know, since I was a kid and without no absence of an actual male, or just my upbringing, I don't know. But if a man puts something out there, I feel like part of your duty as a man is to be that rock, you know, just be solid. The things you say you're going to do them. So if a dude said, man, I'm tired of being broke, I got to do something about it, then you know, put pen to pad and brainstorm, get a game plan, a strategy of what you're going to do, and then do it. That's it. Joshua, on the other hand, he says different things at different times, and it's like ping pong. It's like all over the place. And to me, there's no real consistency to what he's saying. Like, he'd be like, oh yeah, Ruiz, he said that about me. Meet with me. I'm going to break his jaw. This is in the first fight. And then days after that interview or whatever, they had a press conference, final press conference, and he's letting Ruiz hold his belts. So I'm like, this don't sound like the same dude that said he's going to break someone's jaw. At least in America. I don't know about the UK, you know, but in America, the demeanor doesn't really, like, you got to, if somebody says they're going to do you harm or whatever, you got to take that as a legit threat. You know what I'm saying? And Joshua, to me, he just seems, it's like he's trying to be the image. Like the first press conference that they had, or press tour, where he was in Saudi Arabia, he was like kind of grilling, you know, he had the Bay Area Thiz face, you know, and he was kind of grilling and mugging. But then in New York, he seems a little bit more lax and stuff. And I don't know. It's hard to explain without providing 1,000 different examples. But I just feel Joshua is constantly having some kind of inner battle. And like, look how Eddie Hearn keeps looking at Joshua. He's trying to see what he sees. That's what I get from these pictures. You know, they say a picture says 1,000 words. And that's kind of what I get. Look at every picture that I've posted or that's posted here. And look at Eddie Hearn is not even looking at Ruiz. It's like he wants to see if, like, Joshua, you cool, Josh? You know what I'm saying? Look at his face, you know, except for that one. But I'm talking about like face-off pictures. Look where Eddie Hearn's focus is. So I just think this is a super dangerous fight for Joshua. You know, Joshua is nefarious for coming out with these like Hallmark quotes and Instagram captions and, you know, oh, never let a loss get to your head, you know, never let a win get to your head, a loss get to your heart. Like, it sounds good, and it really feels like there's some coaching there. You know, some of this stuff, it's like a teacher. If a teacher has a particular student, and then all of a sudden you get familiarized with a person's work, I guess you could say, and then if you know this particular student and it's not like an above average mind or whatever student, and then all of a sudden there's a 7-page essay and it's using huge words that you've never seen in their past work and stuff like that, then the teacher would probably be a bit doubtful and a bit skeptical. Like, did you write this? Because all of a sudden your past essays were full of spelling errors and, you know, simple words. And then now you have this TI vocabulary. I do feel it was mighty hoish of him and dubiasti You see the veracity and the philosophy of my philosophy. You know what I mean? You're doing these TI words and shit. Hey, Kodak Black, fix it expeditiously. Zone 1, zone 2, zone 3, what it is, pimp? You know, and now you're using these TI words. It just like, it don't sound like the same person. Now, when you hear Joshua talk, a lot of times, you know, he's just saying whatever he's saying. And it looks like he's searching for words, but then sometimes he has these quotes or whatever, and they just sound like, to me, forced and like contrived, like Hallmark quotes, and you know, let's go champ. That's why, just listen to what he's saying. He's like, oh, if I would have lost here, then, you know, I wouldn't have, if I would have stopped then. It's like almost like a YouTube motivation video or something, motivational video. There were times where I faced defeat as an amateur. My third fight, imagine I stopped then. I lost in the European quarterfinals. Imagine I stopped then. Like, I don't know. It just, to me, it don't really flow. Like, it don't seem like him. And like I said, part of it could be because, in my opinion, he's all over the place in general. You know, he's saying one thing. Like, they did the New York press conference and stuff, and press tour stuff, and somebody said, oh, but Wilder keeps mentioning your name, and Joshua just said, oh yeah, that's good. Wilder, you know, I'm supposed to be focused on Wilder because he's a top level elite guy in the heavyweights, and he's supposed to be focused on me. This is what he just said today. You know, he just said Wilder is supposed to be focused on me because, and calling my name. And he was like, I would be like, if he wasn't calling my name, I would say, Eddie, hey Eddie, why is he not saying my name? He said something to this effect, right? But literally, Team Joshua days ago said, Wilder, leave us alone. I'm not worried about Wilder. We're not falling for the trap. We're not falling for the Wilder trap. This is all one team. This is not me just making a bunch of shit up. This is one team with all these different like points of contention and talking points that they're putting out. They just finished telling Wilder, we will not fall for your tricks or whatever they're calling it. You know, they said, we're not going to fall for this. You know, we know what you're up to. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Look, Anthony Joshua, one day ago, Anthony Joshua focused on Andy Ruiz, not Deontay Wilder, says Eddie Hearn. Look, Eddie Hearn, promoter hits back at Deontay Wilder. Look how easy I pull this stuff up. New media, support the wave. Publicity, Eddie Hearn exclusive. Promoter hits back at Deontay Wilder for using Joshua's name again in Tyson Fury's step aside plan, right? He said, before the Ruiz fight at the end of May, blah, blah, blah. So they're just recapping. Hearn continued, we can't really talk about Wilder at the moment because we got business to take care of. I don't want to talk about Wilder because all the focus for Joshua for the last 2 years has been, when's he fighting Wilder? Going into the Ruiz fight, all there are questions were, when you fight Deontay Wilder? So in a way, he overlooked Ruiz because all he was thinking about was the Wilder fight. Once again, Joshua has a quote where he specifically says he trains like an animal regardless. He says that Andy Ruiz, this is before the first fight. This is why the Unpacked series is legendary in the game right now, because we unpack all of this. Before the first Joshua versus Ruiz fight, your man AJ says we did not overlook Ruiz. He had a tough, close fight where he could have won with Joseph Parker. He's championship level. He has hands, right? This is what he said. We're not overlooking this cat. That's what they said. Now, Eddie Hearn is saying what? So in a way, he overlooked Ruiz because all he's thinking about was the Wilder fight. Now they are blaming Wilder for a subpar, lackluster performance from Anthony Joshua and a loss and losing his belts. You can't make this stuff up. This is just bad. This is just bad business. Don't recall a team in boxing that has been this, right here, and then the next minute they're right here so much, so frequently, in such a concentrated period of time. Literally, I could do this all day. I got a video. The video is titled, "I hope Joshua is not underestimating Andy Ruiz." I did it weeks before the actual fight, and I was referencing a quote where Joshua says he's not underestimating him, but I basically insinuated, okay, I hope you're being truthful and not really underestimating him, because I had noticed he was in Miami, riding around in a G-Wagon and saying, "Oh, hey, what set you from, cuz?" And like he was yelling at people, like, joking around jokingly and stuff like that. So you tell me who won. I see them, they run. You tell me who won when my intuition from weeks before the first fight and the loss and 7 reasons turned out to be dead accurate. They denied it. They said, no, Ruiz was just a better man. We didn't underestimate him. Now, all of a sudden, what are they saying? This is laughable. So in a way, he overlooked Ruiz because all he was thinking about was the Wilder fight. Now the only fight that matters is Ruiz rematch, the only fight, because without victory, we can't talk Deontay Wilder, right? And that is a weird statement from Eddie Hearn based on the fact that Joshua said the same thing. He said, oh, I don't want to fight Andy Ruiz. I want to fight Wilder, right? And he made that as like the scapegoat, the fall guy, as to Wilder's the fall guy as to why you lost. As if every boxer doesn't realize this happens all the time. Like, for example, I'll think of a recent on-the-spot example, Sergey Kovalev. Sergey Kovalev, on paper, was in a tough fight with a young, strong, hungry, undefeated fighter with power, Anthony Yarde. There was swirlings and rumors that Kovalev could get a Canelo fight, but Kovalev hasn't always made the best decisions. I think he's smart enough to realize there is no Canelo fight if you can't get past Anthony Yarde, because there's probably going to be a rematch clause. And who wants to see the Canelo fight if you get stopped? So how is it that it takes for Joshua to actually lose and lose everything, lose credibility, lose titles, lose sleep, lose, image and aura points, invincibility, aura points? He has to lose to realize that, hey, if I don't get past this cat Ruiz, that's a wrap. No one's going to be talking about Tyson Fury right now or a Wilder fight. And then now Team Joshua is just making it like this is some newfound, like, oh shit, yeah. Now it's like now they get it. How didn't you get this before? Again, recent example. Sergey Kovalev was involved in Canelo negotiations. They couldn't quite pull the trigger and get it done before, the date that they needed, September or whatever. So he ended up fighting his mandatory, Anthony Yarde. So he has to know that if I don't get past Yarde, then the Canelo fight is out the window, So it's weird that Team Joshua is learning on the job with something so, simple and easy to grasp. Why would you put precedence on a Wilder fight, which A, is not negotiated, B, Wilder, the week of your Ruiz fight, said he was fighting 2 other people, Luis Ortiz and then Tyson Fury? How would Wilder be your priority mindset wise when he already had his own fights? He said, I'm done. He says, Joshua, we tried to make the fight. I smoked him out. Now I'm doing my own thing. I got a lot of fame beating Luis Ortiz and having a draw with Tyson Fury, an epic moment in the 12th round and stuff. I'm good. I'm getting a lot of, I'm on the NCAA Final Four. I'm on a Netflix episode. I'm being mentioned in pop culture. Shout out to Loaded Lux. He just did a song called "To This Day," and it's looping Wilder's famous "To This Day" quote, right? Wilder said he's good, so he wasn't worried about Joshua. So how is it that Team Joshua is really and honestly trying to use Wilder as the reason they lost? We were just so focused. Now we're not gonna. We know better this time. It's just unbelievable. And again, bringing me back to my initial point. Today, Anthony Joshua in New York said Wilder is supposed to be mentioning his name. And if he wasn't, that would be a problem. So it's like, from this team, which one is it? Do you want Wilder to mention your name, or what you're saying to talk sport? But AJ's response will be, for once in my career of the last 18 months, the only thing I'm worried about is getting my belts back, and I have to beat Andy Ruiz. You know, it's like this team is really just, it's like flying by the seat of their pants. There's no structure to what's being said. It's very loose-lipped, if you will, you know, and I can't understand why they would even do this. Like, just might as well, in my opinion, just might as well focus on just the fight, you know. Just focus on the fight and see what happens. But all this back and forth and contradictions and statements made that you have to later change, it's not a good look in my view, my estimations. You know, it's really not. It's not. I don't know if I'll be able to find it quick, because, you know. And this is just insane. Like I said, it's insane that somebody would say these things and then immediately change it. I know I could find it if I look. He said, I remember the quote. Boom, we got action, found it. Anthony Joshua, this is before the fight now. I told you, this series is groundbreaking. We Unpacked, coming to you live. The Telegraph. Anthony Joshua says, quote, forget what Andy Ruiz looks like. It's what's within you that makes you a champion. The Telegraph. Now look at the date. By Gareth A. Davies, famous UK reporter. May 20th, 2019. So before the June 1st first fight. Anthony Joshua, just look. You tell me new media is wrong. The opening quote says, Anthony Joshua, quote, this is a quote, a pull quote, will not underestimate the skills or physique of Andy Ruiz ahead of their heavyweight world title fight on June 1st. The Briton spoke on Monday amidst the fallout with Wilder Wilder knocking out Brazil, basically. And now let's get to the quote. This is an actual quote. Let me blow it up for you guys. Look, you see? He says, and I quote, it's not about what you look like. It's craft, a skill, and what's in your heart and head that matters. Again, Hallmark Joshua coming up with, you know, trying to come up with the seemingly perfect worlds to put everyone at peace with his level of dedication. That's why it doesn't seem like real confidence. He says, Andy Ruiz has shown he has all that. He can fight and box. That's what matters. I think Andy is a great challenger and will bring it on June 1st, right? All I've heard is AJ will smash Andy Ruiz in a round. From the outside, they think that anyone can box. So how is this guy that doesn't look like a fighter able to box? I always say that if you put 10 bodybuilders in the ring, not one of them could fight for a regional title in boxing. Take me out of my body and keep the same attributes and height, same jab, same chin, same heart, same mind, but I look different. I'd still get to the same position I am because it's what's within you which makes you a champion. Your genetics and his genetics are the same, and he took the fight. Andy Ruiz, he's keen, he's game, and you cannot knock him. I can fight, and he says he can fight, and he's got hands. He gave a world champion in Joseph Parker a lot of problems, and when you look at that fight that Parker gave to Dillian White, when people are saying White can beat Wilder, Fury, and me, Andy is championship level for sure. And I have not, look, bruh, and I have not underestimated him one bit. Like literally, this is in print. and please print that. He just said, this is proof to what I've been saying. So Joshua's team has messed up, man. They messed up because they put all this stuff into the atmosphere. If you never said this, then that's whatever, because now you have something to fall back on because you never said it. You told us before that he gave Parker issues. He's keen. He got hands. He's game. You know, it's not about what you look like. Now, the new logic or the new storyline we're going with is that, oh yeah, we underestimated this kid, you know, but that's not going to happen now. But wait, there's more, you know, it's not going to happen now because we lost and now the fire's back. That's why it's not believable, because I've been here before. I've done this. I covered all the information. How you say before the fight, before you even lose, you gave him all these props about how he's keen, he's game, got hands. You know, don't judge him by his body type. Now, all of a sudden, the new storyline is, in fact, you have underestimated him. You did look past him. You were looking at the Wilder fight and Tyson Fury fight and not thinking he was shit. So I can't believe that. I can't believe when someone tells me, like, you've been caught up in a lie, bro. That's just what it is. There's nothing else you could say to get out of it. Now the new storyline is that, oh yeah, we did overlook him, which is what I told you from the beginning, which is the videos that I made before the fight. Listen, I'm going to be eternalized and immortalized in this game. It's just what it is. You know, now they're switching. See, Nipsey Hussle, there's a great quote. He said something like, switching up and disappear. Niggas switching sides. Niggas looking weird. Switching sides. Niggas looking weird. That's Team Joshua, switching side. They say one thing and then they come back and say another. First, you didn't underestimate him. Now you're saying, oh, in a way, we did underestimate him. But you vowed to the public that you can't judge him. You're not body shaming him. And it's what's in your heart and what's it. He put it on. He laid it on so precise and pristine and laid it on so thick. This new storyline, it can't exist, in my opinion. You know, it can't exist because you literally said it's not what's on you, it's what's in you. You know what I'm saying? You said, oh, I'm not judging him. I'm not sleeping on this kid. I haven't underestimated him. So once again, this is proof to me that Joshua is willing to use these hallmark quotes and captions from Instagram and shit to sell people in this belief system that, you know, this is what it is. And I'm trying my best. And, you know, he's a people pleaser. That's what I take it at. You're just saying whatever. The crowd's like, oh man, this guy's fat. You're fighting him. This is some bullshit. So you're a people pleaser, or you overlooked him and maybe you're cocky and you're like, you know, maybe narcissistic about it and saying like, oh, he ain't no work. So you're just telling people some shit. Like, you ever have someone do something and they're trying to like fake modesty? So something to me is not adding up. You decipher exactly what it is, but I know you guys have been in situations where someone's trying to play modest. Like, let's say you have a nice ass, you know, you're loaded and you go on a date with the girl for the first time and she sees your car and you have this nice ass, like decked out Maserati or some shit. And she's like, wow, your car is like super nice. And you're trying to fake modest. You know, you like, bitch, I know this car is all that, you know, and you're trying to put, oh man, this old rag, you know, this car, you know, I was thinking about selling it, you know, getting something slower, you know, and trying to fake the modesty to make it look like you don't know what you have and stuff. So maybe that's what it was. Maybe he was just trying to appease fans who were like clowning the fight, and he really thought he was going to go in there and blast out Ruiz, aka underestimated him, overlooked him, and then when it didn't happen, then you're like, oh shit, Ruiz came to fight. Now you're trying to flip to what you said you weren't going to do, which is overlook him, look past him, and underestimate him. You know, this is just this proves everything that I'm saying. Like I told you, I'm the Muhammad Ali of this. I'm ready to back up every word I'm saying, bro. He says, in a way, he did underestimate Ruiz. Where was that? Where did he say that? I know I seen it. I know I just went over it, but you guys can watch the video again. I've said what I needed to say. Yeah. So anyway, this proves it. This is before the fight. I have not underestimated him one bit. So I don't want to buy, and I'm not believing and buying into this. I don't subscribe to this newfound storyline about Andy Ruiz. I have the burning desire and the fire. You should have had that. You're a champion. You're an undefeated champion. You should have, and a gold medalist. You should have that ongoing, because you know you're in a fisticuff, you know, hand to hand, man to man, woman to woman fighting sport that's brutal. You can't sleep on anybody, you know? So this proves it right here. Forget what Ruiz looks like. It's what's within you that makes a champion. You kind of prophesized your own downfall. You told people before the fight, don't judge a book by its cover, basically. And then now you're trying to, after he beat you, you're trying to come up with some other stuff like, you know, oh, I underestimated him. Yeah, but it's not going to happen again. But the thing is, it is not about the fact that you already did it. Look, AJ won't fall into Wilder's trap. The bottom line is what's done is done. You've already done it. He's already living like a king. You already gave him the confidence. Now you got to take it back. That's something different. Taking the confidence back. If you would have never gave him the confidence, that's one thing. But he already has that. So it's not as simple like, it's like cooking. I'll give you guys an analogy. It's like cooking. If I'm cooking something and I make it far too salty, yeah, there's little things you could do, like maybe add something that has like more of a bitter, you know, like a lemon or something to try to counteract it. But if you go overboard with the salt, there's really no reversing of it. You can't take salt away. You know, you could try to minimize it or mask the presence of something being overly salty, but you should have been more sparing and less heavy-handed with the salt, because you can't totally remove salt. Like I said, the best you could do is try to mask it, you know, with a different type of something that's going to like leverage it, a different type of taste, I guess you could say. Similarly, I do video editing. So if I'm color grading and filming and all this shit, they're always going to tell you, record the best audio in camera. Like, make sure, like, you can have external audio components that you hook up, but what I'm saying is capture the audio right, because in post-processing, there's only so much you can do. If you're peaking and clipping and everything is too loud to begin with, there's software and bullshit that you can use to try to reverse it, but it's much easier to take a low recording that's clean, crisp, and clear and enhance that and bring the levels up. There's no real way to reverse audio that's clipping. It's going to sound fucked up and it's going to sound distorting. Now there's ways to minimize it, but it's not the same. So certain things in life are like that, where the reversal is really not a true reversal. Like it really works one way, and audio's like that. Again, if you record fucked up audio to begin with, then your video is kind of ruined. You can try to plug in to try to fix it, but it's not gonna, trust me. I've been there, done that. It's not gonna sound the same as if you would have recorded clear, crystal clear audio from the beginning. Anyway, Joshua said he won't fall into the Deontay Wilder trap, says Eddie Hearn. Joshua will not fall into the Wilder trap after a fresh challenge of Ruiz in a rematch, blah, blah, blah. Let me tell you about Wilder. Actually, there's no point. Right now, he's in the position of dominance, blah, blah, blah. Deontay Wilder pops up and says, oh, I want to fight Joshua and instead of fighting Tyson Fury. That's not what he said, though. He said he wants to unify. For the last 2 years, you know, we're not going to fall into the trap, blah, blah, blah. So this is what they're saying. The undisputed, like, derailed Joshua. See, they treat Joshua like a man-child, I'm telling you. They treat him like a man-child, where they're trying to give him confidence which is something you can't do, trying to give him confidence by coming up with these storylines as to why he lost. I'm telling you, you know, oh yeah, you lost because you were just focused on this man on the screen, Wilder. Yeah, you know, so he can build this in his head and be like, yeah, I did underestimate Ruiz and I was focused on Wilder. That's why I lost. They don't know, in my opinion, this is my honest opinion, we unpack coming to you live. They do not know how or why Andy Ruiz beat them. To them, it is a fluke. This doesn't make sense. They're racking their brains seeing like, damn, you 6'6", he's 6'2". You know, you weigh 260, he weighed 262, but you in far better shape. How did this happen? They're trying to figure this out. So this is what happens when people lie to themselves. Instead of going to the drawing board, Joshua just said today in New York, oh yeah, the people who said I should leave Rob McCracken, you know, that makes no sense because I did it. I know what I did wrong. This is what he said. He says, I know what I did wrong. I made mistakes. So why should I leave? This is a team that has got me here. Bro. All right. Use Rob McCracken, whoever you want. Good luck. You get what I'm saying? It's like Joshua is like his own stubbornness might be his downfall. His own loyalties might be his downfall. You know, you have to go back to the pure essence, meditate, you know, go to the motherland, something. I know he went to Africa and shit, but you got to do it because at the end of the day, making excuses is not the key. Oh yeah, I was focused on Wilder. That's what I'll use. You know, that's why I lost. You lost skillfully. You didn't have no head movement. You couldn't recover the same, you know. It looked like you quit. And now Joshua, it's like he's saying all this stuff to build him up, build himself up. He says like, oh, I know what I did wrong. It was all me, you know. But I thought it was a punch from the gods. Like, oh, a lucky punch from the gods. Now today he's saying something different. He's saying it was all me. That's why I don't need to change trainers because I know what I did wrong. And then someone asked him, I think it was Ness of the Boxing Voice, asked him, what'd you do wrong? And he was like, oh yeah, a lot of things. So, you know, I was too relaxed. Like, who says that? How you lose because you're too, he's like, my neck was hurting me. He don't know why he lost. I'm telling you, you guys can believe whatever you want. I don't care. He does not know. He's like fishing for the answers. He says he lost to Ruiz because his neck was sore, but you just said you were too relaxed. This stuff doesn't make sense to me. Maybe to you, maybe if you live in the UK, it makes sense. I don't know, but we unpacking it on my channel. It don't make sense to me. You said you were too relaxed, but your neck hurt. That's why you lost? Like, really? This is a gold medalist we're talking about? A gold medalist lost because he was too relaxed? How is being too relaxed ever in life a bad thing? There's been times where I've been so confident and too relaxed or so relaxed or whatever you want to call it and went into a job interview. I killed it. I murdered it. Being too relaxed, that's a gift. If you're relaxed and where others would be frantic, you can remain calm. That's a gift. Like firefighters, I know some firefighters and stuff like that. So under like this intense heat and smog and smut and, you know, fire and shit, blazing fire, 4-alarm fire, whatever, right? And you can remain calm. You got to save this cat and this kid from this, you know, 4-story apartment complex. That's a gift. How is Joshua flipping this and making it sound like being relaxed is somehow a downside? This is insane. We unpack. Let me know what you guys think. We working. So if you enjoyed this video and want more content like this on the channel, you can show your appreciation by going to the PayPal donate button or the YouTube support button, and you can donate any amount that you feel is equivalent to the value of this video. Much more to come. Thank you guys for your support. Boxing Ego, the future of boxing.